A lion enters the hospital, and the nurse bursts into tears when she discovers the reason. The rain pounded mercilessly against the windows of St. John's Memorial Hospital in Chicago. Thunder rumbled overhead, shaking the very foundations of the building. Inside, the fluorescent lights flickered momentarily, causing a collective intake of breath from the night staff. Anna Caldwell, a seasoned nurse with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor, glanced up from her paperwork at the nurses and station. She'd seen her fair share of stormy nights in her 15 years at St. John's, but something about this one felt different. Dr. Richard Mayfield, the hospital's resident veterinarian, approached the station. His brow furrowed in concentration. "Quite a storm we're having," he remarked, his British accent a stark contrast to the Midwestern drawl that dominated the hospital corridors. "If you're enjoying this content, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. Let's keep going." Anna nodded, offering him a tired smile. "Makes you wonder what else this night has in store for us." Little did they know, her words would prove prophetic. As the clock struck midnight, the automatic doors at the hospital's entrance slid open with a hiss. A gust of wind and rain swept in, along with something entirely unexpected. Heavy, padded footsteps echoed through the lobby, followed by a low, rumbling growl that sent chills down the spines of everyone within earshot. Anna's eyes widened in disbelief as she saw the source of the commotion. A massive lion, its golden mane darkened by rain, stood in the middle of the lobby. Panic erupted instantly. Patients screamed, visitors scrambled for cover, and staff members rushed to secure their wards. But Anna remained rooted to the spot, her gaze locked with the lion's intelligent eyes. There was something about this creature that didn't fit. It wasn't behaving like a wild animal on a rampage. Instead, it seemed purposeful. As chaos swirled around them, Anna noticed something clutched gently in the lion's powerful jaws. A small bundle, wrapped in what looked like a tattered blanket. The lion's eyes never left Anna's as it took a tentative step forward. In that moment, Anna made a decision that would change her life forever. She stepped out from behind the nurses' station, ignoring the frantic warnings of her colleagues. "Anna, what are you doing?" Dr. Mayfield hissed, his face pale with fear. But Anna was beyond hearing. She approached the lion slowly, her hands raised in a non-threatening gesture. "It's okay," she murmured, though whether she was reassuring the lion or herself, she couldn't say. "I'm here to help." The lion regarded her for a long moment, its chest heaving with exertion. Then, to Anna's amazement, it gently lowered the bundle to the floor and nudged it towards her with its nose. With trembling hands, Anna reached for the blanket. As she peeled back the damp fabric, she gasped. Nestled within was a creature unlike anything she had ever seen before. It was small, no larger than a house cat, with a mixture of fur and scales covering its body. Its eyes, barely open, were a startling shade of amber. "Oh my God," Anna breathed. "What are you?" The lion let out a soft whine, as if in response. Then, its task seemingly complete, it collapsed to the floor, utterly spent. As security guards and animal control officers burst into the lobby, Anna cradled the strange creature to her chest. She locked eyes with Dr. Mayfield, who had cautiously approached. "Richard," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, I think we're going to need your expertise on this one." Little did they know, this was only the beginning of a night that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the natural world and their place in it. Dr. Richard Mayfield had seen his fair share of unusual cases in his career as a veterinarian, but nothing could have prepared him for the sight before him. In a small examination room, hastily converted into a makeshift animal care unit, Anna Caldwell stood cradling the strangest creature he had ever laid eyes on. "What do you make of it, Richard?" Anna asked, her voice hushed with a mixture of awe and concern. Mayfield adjusted his glasses, leaning in for a closer look. The creature was unlike anything in his extensive knowledge of animal species. Its body was a patchwork of fur and scales, with limbs that seemed to belong to different animals altogether. The head was vaguely feline, but with reptilian features that defied classification. I'm not entirely sure," he admitted, running a hand through his salt and pepper hair. It appears to be some sort of hybrid, but of what, I couldn't say. This goes beyond any known species or even theoretical genetic combinations. As if sensing it was the topic of discussion, the creature let out a soft chirp, nuzzling closer to Anna's warmth. Despite its alien appearance, there was something undeniably endearing about it. "What about the lion?" Anna asked, glancing towards the door. In the hallway beyond, they could hear the commotion as animal control officers worked to secure the massive feline. Mayfield shook his head in amazement. That's another mystery altogether. Its behavior was, well, frankly, it was unprecedented. Lions don't just walk into hospitals carrying young, and they certainly don't hand them over to humans. Anna nodded, her brow furrowed in thought. It's almost as if it knew it needed help, as if it was intelligent. Before Mayfield could respond, the door burst open. Carl Nowak, the hospital's head of security, stormed in, his face red with exertion and stress. "What the hell is going on here?" he demanded, his eyes widening as he caught sight of the creature in Anna's arms. "What is that thing?" "We're not sure yet, Carl," Anna replied calmly, though her grip on the creature tightened protectively. "But it needs our help." Nowak ran a hand over his balding head, visibly struggling to process the situation. "This is way above our pay grade, and folks, we need to call in the authorities, get some experts in here." "We are the experts, Carl," Mayfield interjected, a note of steel entering his voice. "At least when it comes to animal care. And right now, this little one needs medical attention more than it needs to be poked and prodded by government scientists." Nowak looked like he wanted to argue, but the determination in both Anna and Mayfield's faces gave him pause. "Fine," he grumbled, "but this stays under wraps for now. The last thing we need is a media circus on top of everything else." As if on cue, a commotion erupted in the hallway. The sound of cameras clicking and reporters shouting questions filtered through the closed door. "Spoke too soon," Nowak muttered, rushing out to deal with the developing situation. Left alone once more, Anna and Mayfield exchanged a worried glance. The creature in Anna's arms stirred, letting out a small whimper. "We need to examine it properly," Mayfield said, his professional instincts kicking in. "See if we can figure out what it needs in terms of care." Anna nodded, gently placing the creature on the examination table. As she did so, something fell from the folds of the blanket, a small metallic object that clattered to the floor. Mayfield bent to retrieve it, his eyes widening as he examined the device. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before, a complex piece of technology that seemed far too advanced to be a simple tracking chip or identification tag. "What is it?" Anna asked, peering over his shoulder. "I'm not sure," Mayfield replied, turning the device over in his hands, "but I have a feeling it might be the key to unraveling this mystery." As they stood there, the strange creature on the table and the even stranger device in Mayfield's hand, both felt the weight of the moment. They were on the precipice of something monumental, a discovery that could change everything they thought they knew about the natural world. And somewhere in the hospital, a lion with intelligent eyes waited, as if knowing its part in this drama was far from over. As the night wore on, the storm outside showed no signs of abating. Inside St. John's Memorial Hospital, a different kind of tempest was brewing. Anna Caldwell and Dr. Richard Mayfield worked tirelessly in the makeshift examination room, their minds racing to keep up with the cascade of revelations that each passing moment seemed to bring. The creature, which they had taken to calling Rex, for lack of a better name, was a biological marvel. Its vital signs were stable, but utterly unique. Its body temperature fluctuated in ways that defied conventional understanding of mammalian or reptilian physiology. Blood samples revealed a cellular structure unlike anything in the medical literature. So it's as if someone took the building blocks of life and rearranged them into something entirely new, Mayfield mused, peering through a microscope at a sample of Rex's blood. Anna, who had been gently stroking Rex's peculiar fur-scale hybrid coat, looked up with a frown. But how is that possible? And why? Who would do such a thing? Before Mayfield could respond, there was a soft knock at the door. Carl Nowak entered, his face grim. "Jai, we've got a situation," he said without preamble. "The media's going crazy out there. Someone leaked footage of the lion entering the hospital. It's all over the internet." Anna and Mayfield exchanged worried glances. The implications were staggering. If word got out about Rex— "That's not all," Nowak continued, his voice lowering. "We've been getting some strange visitors. People asking very specific questions about any unusual animals that might have been brought in tonight. They're not press, and they're definitely not local authorities." A chill ran down Anna's spine. She thought of the mysterious device they had found, still sitting unopened on a nearby tray. "What do they want?" she asked, though she feared she already knew the answer. "They want the lion," Nowak replied, "and they seem to know about that." He nodded towards Rex, who had curled up into a ball, seemingly oblivious to the growing tension in the room. Mayfield's eyes narrowed. "We can't let them take Rex," he said firmly. "Whatever this creature is, wherever it came from, it needs protection and care, not to be treated like some lab experiment." Anna nodded in agreement, but Nowak looked skeptical. "I understand how you feel, but this is bigger than us. We're just a hospital. For crying out loud, we're not equipped to deal with whatever this is." As if in response to Nowak's words, the mysterious device on the tray suddenly came to life. A soft blue light emanated from its surface, and a holographic display flickered into existence above it. All three humans stared in stunned silence as images and text scrolled by, too fast to read, but leaving an impression of advanced scientific diagrams and complex genetic codes. "Oh my God," Mayfield breathed, leaning in for a closer look. This is incredible. It's like looking at the blueprint for life itself." Anna, her heart racing, turned to Nowak. "Carl, we need to keep this quiet, at least until we can understand what we're dealing with. If the wrong people get their hands on this—" Nowak nodded, his earlier skepticism replaced by a look of grim determination. "All right, I'll do what I can to keep those visitors at bay. But you two need to figure this out fast. I don't know how long I can hold them off." As Nowak left to return to his security duties, Anna and Mayfield shared a look of mingled excitement and trepidation. They were in uncharted territory, standing on the brink of a discovery that could change the course of human knowledge. But with that excitement came a growing sense of danger. Whoever had created Rex, whoever had sent that lion as a desperate messenger, they would stop at nothing to reclaim their creation. As if sensing the gravity of the moment, Rex stirred, letting out a soft chirp that sounded almost like a question. Anna stroked its head gently, marveling at the warmth and life beneath her fingers. "Don't worry, little one," she murmured. "We'll figure this out. We'll keep you safe." But as she met Mayfield's worried gaze, she couldn't help but wonder, in a night full of impossible things, was that a promise she could truly keep? As the holographic display continued to flicker with its tantalizing glimpses of advanced genetic science, Anna found her mind drifting to a memory she had long tried to suppress. 3 years ago, her brother, Dr. James Caldwell, had vanished without a trace during an expedition to study endangered species in a remote part of South America. The official report had concluded that James had likely been the victim of a tragic accident in the unforgiving jungle. But Anna had never been able to shake the feeling that there was more to the story. James had been brilliant, cautious, and deeply passionate about his work in conservation genetics. The idea that he would simply disappear seemed inconceivable to her. Now, as she watched Dr. Mayfield poring over the mysterious data streaming from the device, a wild thought began to form in her mind. Could there be a connection? "Richard," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I need to tell you something. Something that might be relevant to all of this." Mayfield looked up from the holographic display, his brow furrowed with curiosity. "What is it, Anna?" Taking a deep breath, Anna recounted the story of her brother's disappearance. As she spoke, she could see the wheels turning in Mayfield's mind, his eyes darting between her cheats Rex and the mysterious device. "Your brother," he said slowly when she had finished. "He was working on genetic preservation of endangered species, correct? Anna nodded. He believed that by understanding and preserving the genetic diversity of threatened species, we might be able to save them from extinction, but he was always very ethical about it. He would never have approved of creating something like Rex. Mayfield's expression was grave, perhaps not intentionally, but what if his research was used by others, people with less scrupulous intentions? The implication hung heavy in the air between them. Could James' work have somehow led to the creation of Rex? And if so, what did that mean for her brother's fate? Before they could discuss it further, Rex let out a sudden, high-pitched cry. The creature's body began to glow faintly, its fur scales shimmering with an otherworldly light. "What's happening?" Anna gasped, rushing to Rex's side. Mayfield was already there, his hands hovering uncertainly over the glowing creature. "I'm not sure. Its body temperature is fluctuating wildly. It's almost as if—" He trailed off, his eyes widening in amazement. Before their very eyes, Rex's body began to change. The fur scales seemed to ripple and shift, taking on new patterns and textures. In a matter of moments, the creature had transformed from its previous chimera-like appearance into something that looked remarkably like a lion cub. "Incredible," Mayfield breathed. "It's some form of adaptive camouflage, but on a genetic level. I've never seen anything like it." Anna stared in wonder at the now seemingly ordinary lion cub before her, but as she looked closer, she could see that Rex's eyes remained the same startling amber. A reminder that this was no ordinary animal. The implications were staggering, a creature that could alter its very genetic structure at will. The potential applications and dangers were beyond imagination. As if triggered by Rex's transformation, the holographic display from the mysterious device suddenly changed. The stream of genetic data was replaced by a map, showing a location deep in the South American jungle, a location that Anna recognized with a jolt of shock. "That's where James disappeared," she said, her voice shaking. "Richard, what does this mean?" Mayfield's expression was a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "It means, my dear, that your brother's disappearance might not have been an accident after all, and it means that the answers we're looking for might be found in that jungle." The weight of the moment settled over them, like a heavy blanket. They were no longer just dealing with a mysterious creature and advanced technology. They were standing on the precipice of a discovery that could unravel the very fabric of Anna's past and potentially reshape the future of genetic science. As Rex nuzzled against Anna's hand, now looking for all the world like an ordinary lion cub, she made a silent vow. Whatever it took, she would uncover the truth behind her brother's disappearance, and in doing so, she would protect Rex and ensure that whatever power had led to its creation would not fall into the wrong hands. Little did she know, forces were already in motion that would test that vow to its very limits. The pre-dawn hours at St. John's Memorial Hospital were usually quiet, marked only by the soft beeping of machines and the hushed conversations of the night staff. But on this particular morning, an undercurrent of tension thrummed through the corridors like an electric current. Anna Caldwell paced the small examination room, her mind racing. The events of the night had left her exhausted, yet sleep was the furthest thing from her mind. Beside her, Dr. Richard Mayfield continued to study the holographic display, muttering to himself as he scribbled notes. Rex, still in its lion cub form, dozed fitfully on a makeshift bed, occasionally letting out small whimpers that tugged at Anna's heart. She found herself wondering what dreams might plague a creature born of such advanced science. A soft knock at the door jolted them both from their thoughts. Carl Nowak entered, his face drawn with fatigue and worry. "We've got company," he said without preamble. "A group of men in suits just arrived. They're flashing some kind of government credentials, demanding to see the unusual animal that was brought in." Anna and Mayfield exchanged alarmed glances. They had known this moment might come, but facing it was another matter entirely. "What kind of credentials?" Mayfield asked, his voice low and tense. Nowak shook his head. "I'm not sure. They look official, but something feels off. They're not like any government agents I've ever seen." Anna's mind raced. The mysterious visitors, the advanced technology, The connection to her brother's disappearance, it all pointed to something far beyond the realm of ordinary law enforcement. "We can't let them take Rex," she said firmly. "Whatever's going on here, I have a feeling those men aren't here to help." Mayfield nodded in agreement. "But how do we keep them away? We can't exactly hide a glowing, shape-shifting creature in a hospital closet." As if in response to their dilemma, the holographic display suddenly changed. The map of the South American jungle was replaced by what looked like blueprints, detailed schematics of St. John's Memorial Hospital. "Look," Anna gasped, pointing to a section of the blueprint. "There's a network of old maintenance tunnels beneath the hospital. They were sealed off years ago during renovations. But they might still be accessible," Mayfield finished, his eyes lighting up with understanding. Nowak looked skeptical. "You want to hide in the tunnels? That's insane. We'd be trapped down there." "Not hide," Anna said, a plan forming in her mind. "Escape. Those tunnels must lead somewhere, if we can find an exit." The security chief still seemed uncertain, but Mayfield was already gathering their meager supplies. "It's our best option, Carl. We can't fight whoever these people are, and we can't let them get their hands on Rex or this technology." Nowak sighed heavily, then nodded. "All right. I'll do what I can to slow them down, give you a head start, but you'll need to move fast." As Nowak left to run interference, Anna gently scooped up the sleeping Rex. The creature stirred, its amber eyes blinking open to regard her with an uncanny intelligence. "It's okay," she murmured, though whether she was reassuring Rex or herself, she couldn't say. "We're going on a little adventure." Mayfield finished packing a bag with supplies and the mysterious device. "Ready?" he asked, his voice a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Anna took a deep breath, thinking of her brother, of the mysteries that lay ahead, and of the impossible creature in her arms. "Ready," she replied. With one last glance around the room that had been the center of so much wonder and discovery, they slipped out into the dimly lit corridor. Ahead lay the unknown, a labyrinth of forgotten tunnels, the secrets of Rex's origins, and the truth behind James Caldwell's disappearance. As they made their way towards the hidden entrance to the maintenance tunnels, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into something much larger than themselves. A story that had begun years ago, perhaps even before her brother's ill-fated expedition, was coming to a head. And they were now at the center of it all. The maintenance tunnels beneath St. John's Memorial Hospital were a maze of concrete and shadows, the air heavy with the musty scent of disuse. Anna, Mayfield, and their unusual companion picked their way carefully through the darkness, guided only by the dim light of their cell phones and the occasional emergency bulb that had somehow survived years of neglect. Rex, still in its lion cub form, padded silently beside them, its amber eyes seeming to glow in the gloom. Every so often, the creature would pause, its ears twitching as if listening to sounds beyond human perception. "It's remarkable," Mayfield whispered as they navigated a particularly narrow passage. "Even in this form, Rex's senses seem to be far beyond those of a normal lion cub. It's as if it's constantly adapting, not just in appearance but in capability." Anna nodded, her mind racing with the implications. "Do you think it understands what's happening? Why we're down here?" Before Mayfield could respond, a distant echo reached their ears, the sound of voices and footsteps, muffled but unmistakable. "They're in the tunnels," Anna breathed, her heart rate spiking. "How did they find us so quickly?" Mayfield's face was grim in the dim light. "I suspect our mysterious visitors have resources beyond what we imagined. We need to move faster." As if understanding the urgency of their situation, Rex let out a soft chirp and darted ahead, pausing at a junction to look back at them expectantly. "I think it wants us to follow," Anna said, a note of wonder in her voice despite their predicament. With no better options, they followed Rex's lead, winding deeper into the labyrinth of tunnels. The sounds of pursuit grew fainter, but the tension in the air remained palpable. After what felt like hours, but was likely only minutes, they emerged into a larger chamber. Ancient machinery, long since fallen into disrepair, loomed in the shadows. But it was what lay at the center of the room that caught their attention. A circle of strange, metallic pillars stood arranged in a perfect circle. Each pillar was etched with intricate designs that seemed to shift and change in the dim light, defying the eye's attempt to focus on them. "What is this place?" Anna whispered, her voice filled with awe and a touch of fear. Mayfield approached one of the pillars cautiously, his scientific curiosity overriding his apprehension. "I'm not sure, but these markings, they're like nothing I've ever seen before. They almost look like DNA sequences," Anna finished, her mind flashing back to the holographic displays they had seen earlier, but impossibly complex. Rex padded into the center of the circle, its small form dwarfed by the towering pillars. As it did so, a soft hum began to fill the air, growing in intensity with each passing moment. "Anna, look!" Mayfield exclaimed, pointing at the mysterious device they had brought with them. It was glowing with the same ethereal light as the pillars, pulsing in rhythm with the humming sound. Before either of them could react further, Rex began to transform once more. But this time, the change was far more dramatic. The creature's body seemed to dissolve into pure light, swirling and reforming in a dizzying display of color and motion. When the light faded, Rex stood before them in a form that defied description, part lion, part bird, part something entirely alien. Its amber eyes, now set in a face that seemed to shift between feline and avian features, regarded them with an intelligence that was unmistakably sentient. And then, to their utter astonishment, it spoke. "Thank you for your protection," Rex said, its voice a melodious blend of animal sounds and human speech. "But I'm afraid our journey together is only beginning." Anna and Mayfield stood frozen, their minds struggling to process what they were witnessing. In that moment, they realized that the mystery of Rex's origins was far more complex and far more extraordinary than they could have ever imagined. As the hum of the pillars grew to a crescendo, bathing the chamber in pulsating light, Anna had the distinct feeling that they were standing on the threshold of something momentous, a discovery that would shake the very foundations of human understanding. And somewhere, in the depths of the South American jungle, lay the key to unraveling it all. The chamber beneath St. John's Memorial Hospital hummed with energy, the air thick with the promise of revelations. Anna and Dr. Mayfield stood transfixed, their eyes locked on the extraordinary being before them. Rex, now transformed into a creature beyond their wildest imaginations. What are you?" Anna managed to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. Rex's form shimmered slightly, as if struggling to maintain its current shape. "I am the result of a project that spans time and space," it replied, its voice a symphony of otherworldly tones, a bridge between what was, what is, and what could be. Mayfield, his scientific mind racing to keep up with the implications, stepped forward cautiously. "Are you saying you're not from Earth?" A sound that might have been laughter rippled through the air. "Not exactly," Rex said. "I am of Earth, but not only of Earth. My creator sought to combine the genetic legacy of this planet's past with possibilities from elsewhere." Anna's heart skipped a beat as a wild hope surged through her. "My brother," she said urgently. "James Caldwell. Was he involved in your creation?" Rex's amber eyes seemed to soften with something akin to sympathy. James Caldwell was a key figure in the early stages of the project. His work on preserving endangered species, DNA, was the foundation upon which I was built. But he... Before Rex could finish, the distant sound of voices echoed through the tunnels once more, closer now, and tinged with urgency. "They're coming," Mayfield said, tension evident in his voice. "We need to move." Rex nodded, its form rippling once more. "Yes, but not through the tunnels. There is another way, a way your brother discovered." With that, the creature turned towards the circle of pillars, as if responding to an unspoken command. The etchings on their surface began to glow with an intense blue light. The hum in the air grew to a fever pitch, and the space between the pillars seemed to shimmer and distort. "A portal," Anna breathed, her mind reeling at the implications. But to where? To the source, Rex replied. "To the place where I was created, and where the answers you seek lie waiting." The voices were growing closer now, accompanied by the sound of running footsteps. They were out of time. Mayfield gripped Anna's arm, his face a mask of conflicting emotions. "Anna, we don't know what's on the other side. This could be incredibly dangerous." She met his gaze, seeing her own mix of fear and determination reflected there. "We don't have a choice, Richard. And besides," she added with a small smile, "aren't you curious?" Before he could respond, Rex let out a warning chirp. The shimmering distortion between the pillars was beginning to stabilize, forming what looked like a window into another world, a lush green jungle bathed in strange, purplish light. "Now," Rex said urgently, "we must go now." Taking a deep breath, Anna stepped forward, Mayfield at her side. As they approached the portal, she felt a strange, tingling sensation wash over her body. The air around them seemed to crackle with energy. Just as they reached the threshold, the door to the chamber burst open. A group of men in dark suits rushed in, their faces a mixture of shock and determination. "Stop!" one of them shouted, reaching for something at his belt. But it was too late. With Rex at their side, Anna and Mayfield stepped through the portal. The world around them dissolved into a kaleidoscope of light and sensation. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity. They were everywhere and nowhere at once. And then, with a rush of hot, humid air, they were through. Anna stumbled, her feet sinking slightly into soft, loamy soil. As her vision cleared, she found herself standing in a clearing surrounded by towering trees unlike any she had ever seen. The air was thick with the scents of unfamiliar flowers and the calls of exotic birds. Beside her, Mayfield was looking around in wide-eyed wonder. "My God," he muttered, "where are we?" Rex, now back in its smaller, more ambiguous form, padded forward. "Welcome," it said, "to the place where past and future collide, the birthplace of a new era in evolution." As they took in their surroundings, Anna's gaze was drawn to a structure in the distance, a sleek, futuristic building that seemed to grow organically from the jungle itself. And there, etched above its entrance, was a name that made her heart skip a beat. The Caldwell Institute for Evolutionary Advancement. Her brother's legacy, it seemed, was far grander and far more complex than she could have ever imagined. As they set off towards the building, Anna knew that the answers she sought lay within its walls, but she also knew that those answers might change everything she thought she knew about her brother, about science, and about the very nature of life itself. The jungle air was thick with humidity and the promise of revelations as Anna, Mayfield, and Rex approached the imposing structure of the Caldwell Institute. The building seemed to defy conventional architecture, its sleek lines and organic curves blending seamlessly with the surrounding foliage. As they drew closer, Anna's heart raced with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. This place, bearing her brother's name, held the key to unraveling the mystery that had consumed her for the past 3 years. But what truths would she uncover within its walls? "It's remarkable," Mayfield murmured, his scientific curiosity evident in his voice. "The integration of technology and nature, it's like nothing I've ever seen." Rex, padding silently beside them, seemed to grow more animated as they approached. "This is where it all began," the creature said, its voice a melodious blend of sounds, "where your brother's vision took root and blossomed into something beyond even his wildest dreams." As they reached the entrance, a panel beside the door lit up with a soft blue glow. A computerized voice, eerily familiar, filled the air. "Welcome to the Caldwell Institute. Please provide biometric identification for entry." Anna stepped forward, her hand trembling slightly as she placed it on the glowing panel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a soft chime, the door slid open. Identity confirmed. Anna Caldwell. Welcome home, sister of the founder. Tears pricked at Anna's eyes. Even after all this time, James had ensured she would have access to his work. It was a bittersweet reminder of the bond they had shared. As they entered the facility, they found themselves in a vast atrium filled with a dizzying array of holographic displays and strange, pulsating plants that seemed to be part organic, part machine. "This is incredible," Mayfield breathed, his eyes darting from one marvel to the next. "The advancements here. They're decades, maybe centuries beyond anything in the public sphere." Rex moved to the center of the room, its form shimmering slightly as it interfaced with the building's systems. Dr. James Caldwell began with a simple goal: to preserve Earth's vanishing biodiversity. But as his work progressed, he stumbled upon something far greater, a way to not just preserve life, but to evolve it. Holographic images sprang to life around them, showing the progression of James's work. Anna watched in awe as years of research unfolded before her eyes, culminating in the creation of creatures like Rex, beings that could adapt and evolve in real time, combining the genetic legacies of countless species. "But why?" Anna asked, her voice thick with emotion. "Why did he disappear? Why keep all of this secret?" Rex's amber eyes met hers, filled with a depth of understanding that seemed impossibly ancient, because he realized the magnitude of what he had discovered. The power to reshape life itself. In the wrong hands, it could be catastrophic. A new hologram appeared, showing James in his lab, looking older and more careworn than Anna remembered. His recorded voice filled the atrium. "If you're seeing this, Anna, it means you finally found your way here. I'm sorry for the secrecy, for the pain I must have caused you. But what we've created here, it's bigger than any one person. It's the next step in evolution, a way to ensure life's survival in a changing universe." Anna reached out to touch the image of her brother, her fingers passing through the hologram. "Oh, James," she whispered, "what have you done?" As if in response to her question, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Rex's form tensed, its eyes darting towards the entrance. "They've followed us," the creature said, its voice urgent. "The ones who seek to control this power for their own ends." Mayfield rushed to a nearby console, his fingers flying over the holographic interface. "It looks like they've breached the outer perimeter. We don't have much time." Anna's mind raced. They had come so far, discovered so much, but now it all seemed on the verge of slipping away. "What do we do?" she asked, looking between Mayfield and Rex. Rex's form shimmered, growing larger and more imposing. "We must protect the legacy of James Caldwell. The work here is too important to fall into the wrong hands." As if triggered by Rex's words, another hologram of James appeared. "Anna, if you're seeing this, it means the Institute is under threat. There's a failsafe, a way to ensure that our work remains safe until the world is ready for it." The hologram gestured, and a hidden panel in the wall slid open, revealing a complex device that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. "This is the Evolutionary Codex," James's recording continued. "It contains the sum total of our research, including the key to Rex's unique abilities. If activated, it will scatter our work across time and space, hidden in the very fabric of evolution itself." Anna stepped towards the device, her heart pounding. "But if we do that, all of this will be lost. Your work, your legacy." "Not lost," Rex interjected softly. "Safeguarded, waiting to be rediscovered when humanity is ready to wield such power responsibly." The sound of explosions echoed from somewhere deeper in the facility. They were running out of time. Mayfield looked at Anna, his face etched with concern and determination. "It's your decision, Anna. This was your brother's life's work. What do you want to do?" Anna closed her eyes, thinking of James, of the wonders they had discovered, and of the potential for both miracles and catastrophes that lay within the Institute's walls. When she opened them again, her gaze was clear and resolute. "We activate the codex," she said firmly. "We protect the future by preserving the past." Rex nodded, a look of approval in its ever-changing eyes. "A wise choice, but know this, activating the codex will have consequences. The dispersion of this knowledge will ripple across time. You may find that the world you return to is not quite the same as the one you left." Anna took a deep breath, then placed her hand on the evolutionary codex. Its surface was warm, almost alive under her touch. "Whatever changes come, we'll face them together," she said. looking at Mayfield and Rex. As the sounds of intruders grew closer, Anna pressed the activation sequence James had revealed in his message. The codex began to pulse with intense light, filling the room with a swirling vortex of energy. "It's working!" Mayfield shouted over the growing roar. "The data is being dispersed." Rex's form began to shimmer and fade. "Thank you, Anna Caldwell," the creature said, its voice growing distant. "You have ensured that life will find a way, across all of time and space." As the energy reached a crescendo, Anna felt a tugging sensation, as if reality itself was shifting around them. The last thing she saw before the world dissolved into light was the proud smile on her brother's holographic face. Then, in a flash of blinding radiance, the Caldwell Institute, Rex, and all the wonders and dangers it contained, vanished from the face of the earth, scattered across the cosmic tapestry of evolution, waiting to be rediscovered. Anna blinked, the world slowly coming back into focus around her. She found herself standing in the middle of a busy Chicago street, the familiar skyline etched against a clear blue sky. Beside her, Dr. Mayfield looked equally disoriented. "Did it work?" she asked, her voice hoarse, as if she hadn't used it in a long time. "Are we back?" Mayfield nodded slowly, his eyes scanning their surroundings. "It appears so. But something feels different." As they took in their surroundings, subtle changes became apparent. The cars gliding silently past them seemed more streamlined, powered by some unseen, clean energy. The people walking by wore clothes with a slightly futuristic flair, and many sported small devices behind their ears that pulsed with soft light. "The codex," Anna breathed. "Rex warned us there would be changes." They made their way to a nearby news kiosk, holographic headlines floating above it. Anna's eyes widened as she read, "Global climate crisis averted. Breakthrough in adaptive agriculture saves millions. Interspecies communication breakthrough. Scientists develop universal translator for animal languages. Human longevity reaches new heights. Average lifespan now exceeds 120 years. Mayfield let out a low whistle. "It seems the dispersal of the evolutionary codex has had quite an impact. These advancements, they're incredible." Anna nodded, a mixture of awe and apprehension washing over her. "But at what cost? How much has changed? Are we even the same people we were?" Before Mayfield could respond, a familiar voice called out from across the street. "Anna, Dr. Mayfield, there you are." They turned to see Carl Nowak jogging towards them, looking oddly unchanged amidst the subtle futurism of their surroundings. "Carl," Anna said, relief flooding through her. "You remember us?" Nowak looked at them quizzically. "Of course I remember you. Are you feeling all right? You both disappeared from the hospital days ago, right after that strange incident with the lion. We've been worried sick." Anna and Mayfield exchanged glances. It seemed that while the world had changed dramatically, their immediate past remained intact, at least from Nowak's perspective. "We're fine, Carl," Mayfield said carefully. "Just a bit disoriented. It's been an eventful few days." Nowak nodded sympathetically. "I can imagine. Look, why don't you both come back to the hospital? There's someone there who's been waiting to see you." As they followed Nowak through the strangely familiar yet altered streets of Chicago, Anna's mind raced. Who could be waiting for them, and how much of their incredible journey would they be able to share? The hospital, when they arrived, was a marvel of modern medicine. Holographic displays showed real-time patient data, and robots glided silently through the halls, assisting human staff. Nowak led them to a private room on the top floor. As the door slid open, Anna's heart nearly stopped. There, sitting up in bed and looking older but very much alive, was her brother, James Caldwell. "Hello, little sister," he said with a warm smile. "Mace, I think it's time we had a talk about the future and the past." As Anna rushed to embrace her long-lost brother, she realized that their journey was far from over. The activation of the evolutionary codex had set in motion changes that would reshape the world in ways they were only beginning to understand. And somewhere out there, scattered across time and space, the legacy of their incredible discovery waited to be pieced together once more. The reunion between Anna and James was a whirlwind of emotions: joy, relief, confusion, and a hint of trepidation. As they embraced, Anna could feel the years of separation melting away, but also the weight of unanswered questions pressing down on them. "How is this possible?" she asked, pulling back to look at her brother. "We saw the recordings. We thought you were—" James smiled, a hint of his old mischievous spark in his eyes. "Gone, in a way. I was. But the activation of the evolutionary codex, it changed more than just the world around us. It rewrote portions of history itself." Dr. Mayfield, who had been watching the reunion with a mixture of happiness and scientific curiosity, stepped forward. "The ripple effect," he mused. "The dispersal of advanced evolutionary knowledge across time and space must have accelerated certain discoveries, altered certain events." James nodded. "Exactly. In this new timeline, my disappearance was actually a deep undercover mission to protect the secrets of the Codex. I've been working behind the scenes all this time, guiding the integration of our discoveries into society." Anna's head spun with the implications. "But if history has changed, why do we remember the old timeline? Why does Carl remember us disappearing just days ago?" "The human mind is a remarkable thing," James explained. "Those closest to the event, to the activation of the Codex, retain memories of both timelines. It's a safeguard in a way, ensuring that someone remembers the truth of what happened." As they talked, a soft chime sounded from a device on James's wrist. He glanced at it, his expression growing serious. "We don't have much time. There are still those who seek to control the power of accelerated evolution for their own ends. We need to move." "Move where?" Mayfield asked. His scientific curiosity piqued. "What's our next step?" James stood, revealing that he was far from the sickly patient they had initially perceived. "To the new Caldwell Institute," he said with a grin. "It's time you saw what your actions have wrought." As they prepared to leave, Anna couldn't shake a nagging feeling. "James," she said hesitantly, "what about Rex? Did the Codex erase them from existence?" Her brother's expression softened. "Rex was more than just a creation, Anna. In many ways, they were the embodiment of the Codex itself, dispersed across time and space, yes, but not gone. In fact—" Before he could finish, a familiar chirping sound filled the room. From the shadows, a small creature emerged, part feline, part avian, its form shimmering with barely contained energy. "Hello, old friends," Rex said, its amber eyes twinkling with ancient wisdom. "Our journey, it seems, is far from over." As Anna knelt to greet their old companion, she felt a surge of hope and excitement. The world had changed in ways she was only beginning to understand, but with her brother returned, Mayfield's scientific brilliance, and Rex's otherworldly guidance, she knew they were equipped to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they stepped out into a world transformed by the power of evolution itself, a world where the boundaries between past, present, and future had become wonderfully, terrifyingly blurred. The journey to the new Caldwell Institute was a revelation in itself. As they traveled through the transformed Chicago landscape, Anna marveled at the seamless integration of nature and technology. Buildings seemed to breathe, their surfaces covered in living, air-purifying plants. Vehicles glided silently on roads that shimmered with embedded solar cells. "It's incredible," she murmured, watching a flock of birds that seemed to glow with bioluminescent patterns. "All of this from the dispersal of the Codex?" James nodded, a hint of pride in his voice. The Codex contained more than just genetic information. It held the key to understanding the deep interconnectedness of all life. Once that knowledge began to seep into various fields of study, the advancements came rapidly. As they approached the outskirts of the city, the urban landscape gave way to a lush, all-managed wilderness. In the distance, a structure rose from the trees, a breathtaking fusion of organic architecture and advanced technology. "Welcome," James said with a sweeping gesture, "to the new Caldwell Institute for Evolutionary Harmony." The building seemed to grow from the earth itself, its walls a living membrane that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. As they entered, Anna and Mayfield gasped in awe. The interior was a vast, open space filled with holographic displays, strange hybridized plants, and scientists of all species working side by side. "Is that a dolphin?" Mayfield asked incredulously, pointing to a large aquarium where a cetacean wearing some kind of neural interface appeared to be in deep discussion with a human researcher. "Cetacean Ambassador Coral," James confirmed. "She's one of our leading experts on marine ecosystem restoration." As they toured the facility, the true scope of the changes wrought by the codex became clear. Entire wings were dedicated to interspecies communication, adaptive agriculture capable of thriving in rapidly changing climates, and medical advancements that bordered on the miraculous. "This is all incredible," Anna said, her head spinning with the implications. "But there must be challenges too." "You mentioned there are still those who would misuse this power." James's expression grew serious. "Indeed. While the dispersal of the codex has led to great advancements, it has also created new forms of conflict. There are those who believe that humanity should control the course of evolution, shaping other species to our will, and others who fear the changes, seeking to reverse the effects of the codex entirely." Rex, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. "Oh, what can we do?" she asked. James led them to a secure room at the heart of the institute. Inside, a familiar device pulsed with otherworldly energy, a smaller version of the original evolutionary codex. "This is the Nexus," he explained. "It allows us to monitor the ongoing effects of the codex's dispersal and, when necessary, make subtle adjustments to keep the balance." Mayfield's eyes lit up with scientific curiosity. "So you mean we can actually guide the course of evolution on a global scale?" "Within limits," James cautioned. "The goal is harmony, not control. We work to ensure that all life has the chance to adapt and thrive in the face of rapid change." As Anna approached the Nexus, she felt a strange resonance, as if the device recognized her. Images flashed through her mind, ecosystems in flux, species adapting in real time, the intricate web of life pulsing with newfound vitality. "It's beautiful," she breathed, "and terrifying." Rex moved to her side, its form shimmering with barely contained energy. "This is the legacy of your choice, Anna Caldwell. A world where the boundaries between species, between past and future, have become fluid. A world of endless possibility." As the weight of their responsibility settled over them, a sudden alarm blared through the institute. James rushed to a nearby console, his face grim. "We have a problem," he announced. "A rogue faction has gained access to fragments of the codex. They're attempting to create a localized evolutionary surge in the Amazon rainforest." Anna exchanged determined glances with Mayfield and Rex. Their incredible journey had led them to this moment, a chance to shape the future of life itself. "What's our move?" she asked, ready to face whatever challenges this brave new world might throw at them. James smiled, a mixture of pride and anticipation in his eyes. "We go to the Amazon. We protect the balance. We ensure that evolution remains a force for harmony, not destruction." As they prepared for their next adventure, Anna realized that their activation of the codex had not been an end, but a beginning. They were now guardians of a new era in Earth's history, tasked with guiding the intricate dance of life itself. The future, with all its wonders and perils, awaited. The Amazon rainforest had always been a place of wonder, but as Anna, Mayfield, James, and Rex emerged from their transport into the lush undergrowth, they found themselves in a landscape that defied imagination. Massive trees towered overhead, their trunks pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. Strange, hybridized creatures flitted through the canopy, their forms a mesmerizing blend of mammal, bird, and insect. "The evolutionary surge," Mayfield breathed, his scientific mind racing to categorize the marvels around them. "It's already begun." James nodded grimly, consulting a holographic display projected from his wrist device. "The rogue faction has established a base near the heart of the forest. They're using a makeshift version of the codex to accelerate evolution in a small area, with no regard for the broader ecosystem." Rex, its form shimmering and adapting to the strange environment, spoke up. Such reckless manipulation of life's code. It could have catastrophic consequences far beyond this forest. Anna felt a surge of determination. This was why they had come, to protect the delicate balance of life, to ensure that the power of the codex was used responsibly. "What's our plan?" she asked, ready for action. James outlined their strategy as they moved deeper into the forest. They would approach the rogue base under cover of the dense foliage, using Rex's adaptive abilities to camouflage their presence. Once there, they would need to neutralize the makeshift codex and contain the evolutionary surge before it spread beyond control. As they trekked through the transformed rainforest, Anna marveled at the rapid changes taking place around them. Plants seemed to grow and evolve before their eyes, their leaves shifting colors and patterns to adapt to the changing light. Creatures unlike anything she had ever seen darted through the underbrush, their forms a dizzying blend of familiar and alien. "It's beautiful," she murmured, reaching out to touch a flower that seemed to sing a soft melody as it bloomed. "But also terrifying. How can we possibly control this?" Mayfield, who had been taking readings on the advanced handheld device, shook his head in wonder. "The rate of change is exponential. If we don't contain this soon, the effects could ripple out across the entire planet." As they neared the location of the rogue base, Rex suddenly tensed, its form rippling with barely contained energy. "We're not alone," it warned, its voice a low growl. From the shadows of the forest emerged a group of figures, humans, but changed. Their bodies showed signs of accelerated evolution, with heightened senses and enhanced physical abilities. At their center stood a woman with piercing green eyes and skin that seemed to shimmer with chlorophyll. "Welcome, Caldwells," she said, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "We've been expecting you." James stepped forward, his face a mask of determination. "Dr. Elena Volkov, I presume. Your experiments here are dangerous. You're risking the entire planet's ecosystem." Eleanor smiled, and a predatory glint in her eye. "Risk? We're ushering in the next stage of evolution. Humanity will no longer be bound by the slow crawl of natural selection. We will become gods, shaping life itself to our will." "That's not how it works," Anna interjected, her voice firm. "Evolution isn't about control or dominance. It's about balance, about finding harmony within the greater web of life." Elena's gaze shifted to Anna, a look of curiosity crossing her features. "Ah, the younger Caldwell, the one who activated the original codex. Tell me, don't you feel the power, the potential to remake the world as we see fit?" For a moment, Anna felt the pull of that temptation, the ability to shape life, to solve the world's problems with a wave of her hand. But then she thought of Rex, of the wonders they had seen, of the delicate balance that held the world together. "Power without wisdom is nothing but destruction," she said firmly. "What you're doing here isn't evolution, it's chaos." Elena's expression hardened. "Then you leave us no choice. We will not allow you to stop the next step in human ascension." With a gesture from Eleanor, her evolved followers surged forward. The forest around them seemed to come alive, plants and animals responding to the heightened emotions and surging evolutionary energies. What followed was a battle unlike any in history, not fought with weapons, but with the very forces of life itself. Rex shapeshifted rapidly, countering the enhanced abilities of Elena's followers. Mayfield used his scientific knowledge to predict and counter the surges of evolutionary energy. James tapped into the deeper wisdom of the codex, working to stabilize the chaotic changes rippling through the forest, and Anna found herself at the heart of it all. As she dodged grasping vines and leapt over rapidly evolving terrain, she felt a deep connection to the pulsing life force around her. In that moment, she understood that her role was not to control evolution, but to guide it, to be a bridge between the old world and the new. With a burst of inspiration, she reached out to the makeshift codex at the center of Elena's base. Instead of trying to shut it down, she sought to harmonize with it, to channel its power into a more balanced form of accelerated evolution. The effect was immediate and breathtaking. The chaotic surges of energy began to stabilize. Plants and animals that had been warped by uncontrolled evolution began to find new, sustainable forms. Even Elena and her followers felt the change, their enhanced bodies settling into a more harmonious state. As the dust settled, Elena stared at Anna with a mixture of awe and defeat. How did you do that? Anna smiled, feeling the pulse of life flowing through her. By remembering that we're not meant to control evolution, we're part of it. The codex isn't a tool for domination. It's a key to understanding our place in the great dance of life. In the aftermath of the battle, as they worked to stabilize the affected area and integrate the changes into the broader ecosystem, Anna realized that their journey was far from over. The activation of the codex had set in motion changes that would ripple across time and space for generations to come. But now, with the wisdom they had gained and the bonds they had forged, they were ready to face those challenges. As guardians of evolution, they would work to ensure that the incredible power of life itself would be used not for domination, but for harmony. As the sun set over the transformed Amazon, painting the sky in colors never before seen on Earth, Anna looked at her companions, her brother James, the brilliant Dr. Mayfield and the enigmatic Rex, and even the now humbled Eleanor. She knew that together they would guide humanity and all life on Earth into a future of endless possibility and wonder. The journey that had begun with a mysterious lion entering a Chicago hospital had led them to become the shepherds of a new era in Earth's history. An era where the boundaries between species, between past and future, had become fluid. An era of challenges, of wonders, and of hope. As they prepared to return to the Caldwell Institute, Anna felt a deep sense of purpose. The adventure was not ending. It was only beginning, and she was ready to face whatever marvels and perils the evolved world might bring.